Hello, and welcome to Keys to the Market with RaciaSellsHomes, Realtor at the House Store. Today I want to talk to you about a buyer key and a seller key. So if you're thinking about buying a house or if you're thinking about selling the house you currently live in, I hope that the information provided in this podcast will help you make a better informed decision. The first thing I want to ask you to consider is, do you know the difference between a realtor and a real estate agent? So, realtor and real estate agent are terms that are used interchangeably quite often, but they are not the same. There are significant differences between the terms. And one thing I want to talk to you about with the term realtor is that while a real estate agent can assist you in buying, selling, and renting property, a realtor can assist in all those things and more. Plus, we are held to a higher standard. So all realtors are real estate agents, but all real estate agents are not realtors. What truly sets realtors apart is their commitment to a strict code of ethics. And we also take training for that every 3 years so that we stay current on anything involving the topic of ethics. And then we also may go further in our training and education to take any kind of certifications, which we could have designations. Sometimes you'll see the letters behind realtors' names, and that's what that means, is that they've taken a designation to learn more in that field so that they're an expert in that field. So they're trained strictly for that area. That's what that one designation means. Realtors can have many designations, and we also take a lot of CE over and above what is required to renew our license every 2 years. One of the things that I feel is so important in being a realtor is that level of education. So fulfilling my CE requirement every 2 years, that's okay to just renew my license, but is that truly going to set me apart and make me the realtor for you? I think personally, you need a realtor who goes above and beyond, even with the level of education. I'm always trying to take CE classes on many topics. It might be something that's required for me to renew my license, but it also may be a topic that I just want to be better informed on. It could be something about roofs. It could be something about plumbing. It could be something about home inspections. These are all areas of expertise that I need knowledge in to help guide you through the process. Whether you're buying or selling, you are going to need a realtor that knows the information in all of these areas to be able to guide you successfully through your process. And then also, I want to talk to you a little bit about the compensation. So one of the biggest reasons that a seller chooses to do for sale by owner is they want to save the money that they would have to pay a realtor. So compensation is definitely earned. I can assure you of that. Paying a realtor a fair compensation is valid, and I want you to understand why that is valid. So it's not just about you trying to save money, it's about protecting yourself through the transaction. So there are forms you have to fill out and provide to any potential buyer when they're looking at your home. So if you have access to the free ones on the internet, that's something that's definitely out there, yes, but they are not the state forms that are drawn up by our attorneys from the Tennessee Realtors Association. So if you use a realtor, we have access to those forms, and so we can guide you through the process of filling out these forms correctly. We can answer any questions you may have about the forms, and we can also explain to you why you need the forms. These forms also help cover you from any potential lawsuits. It's not a foolproof guide from having a lawsuit in the future, but it definitely can help prevent them. So you definitely want to have a realtor who knows the forms, who knows the process, and can walk you through that. Another thing to think about when you're getting ready to list your home is, yeah, you can put a sign in the yard and you can post to, your Facebook account, your Snapchat, whatever you use, Instagram, whatever social media you're on. You can even post to a few of the for sale by owner sites. If you use a realtor, we can post your listing in the MLS, which is our multiple listing service. That is accessible to any realtor in our area that is a member of the MLS. So that's going to get your listing in front of a lot of agents that could potentially have a buyer looking for that particular criteria in a property. Also, when we post to the MLS, we syndicate to national websites such as Realtor.com, Homes.com, Zillow, and many, many, many more. So I know a lot of people tend to look at those sites, and there is a degree of service on some of these for sale by owner, but you don't get the full service that you get if you list with a realtor on a lot of these sites. So what you want to do is get the maximum exposure possible so that we get your home out in front of as many potential buyers as possible, to get the showings, to get you hopefully multiple offers, and then to negotiate the highest and best offer possible for you. And then as far as the buyer side, if you are looking to buy a home and be unrepresented, are you aware that there's certain forms you are required by the seller to have provided to you? So if you don't know that they are required by law to provide you certain forms, then that's another reason to use a realtor to help walk you through the process of buying, because you want to know what you're available by law to find out about the home. Another reason to use a realtor on the buying side is because you want to get pre-approved for your mortgage prior to looking at homes. I know a lot of buyers don't want to do that. They want to find the house they fell in love with, and then they want to talk to a lender. And that is not at all the way to do it. So what's going to happen in that instance is you're going to find the home you love, you're going to fall in love with it, then you're going to go to a lender, apply for your mortgage, and then you're going to find out either one, you don't qualify for the amount you need to buy the home you fell in love with, or two, it's not going to be a type of loan you qualify for that particular house will qualify for on the financing. And that does happen. If you're going to qualify for an FHA loan or a VA loan or a THDA, then you need to know that there are homes that have certain criteria that those homes will not pass an inspection for those types of loans. So it's very important that you find all of this information out up front, provide that to your realtor so that they can assess the best options possible and provide you options of what would be potential listings you can view that meet the criteria you have given. And then also one more thing to think about is when you're walking through that real estate process, whether you are on the selling side or whether you're on the buying side. If you're on the selling side, you're going to hopefully do all these things up front. If you're on the buying side, a lot of these things are going to come up when you have your home inspection. And that's another thing to work out. Do you have a home inspection? So a realtor can show you all the many reasons why you do want to have a home inspection. Yes, there is an extra expense, but it is very well worth the money to spend to have that. And we can show you the reasons why. We can walk you through that process. We are also very connected to trusted home inspectors that we can refer to you to choose from to have your home inspection. On the seller side, we can do the same thing prior to a listing so that you're aware upfront of any potential issues with your home. Once these issues come up, and there will be some issues come up because there is no such thing as a perfect home. Even new construction, there's always something that's found on a home inspection. So when these things arise, you want a realtor who is extremely connected with vendor providers that have the same level of expertise that we do to walk you through those projects. So if you get a home inspection back and you have plumbing issues, you want your realtor to be able to provide to you some plumbers that you can get quotes and see what the fee would cost to have that particular item from the home inspection fixed. You can ask the seller for repairs. They don't always do all the repairs asked. So it's very important to know what you're getting into, how much it's going to cost you when you get into it, and that's going to also affect what you can afford in terms of your home. So if you're maxed out on your mortgage, as far as what you qualify for, and you're at the very top of your buying power, and then the home has a lot of things wrong, the seller refuses to do, or they only will do a handful of the items and you're left to do the rest of the items. If you choose to continue in the contract, then you have to determine whether or not you can afford to do these items, or you need to just walk away and find another home, because you are going to be responsible for any items that the seller does not agree to in the repair amendment. Another item to consider is a title company. So it's important to have a great title company, one that can walk you through the title search, what the fees are on both the buyer and the seller sides for closing, what those fees are for. And then also, if there is title insurance, they can walk you through all of that. That's a choice the buyer has. They can walk you through all the reasons to have that. So you want a realtor who has connections with great title companies who have that expertise that can walk you through all of the steps of the actual closing. Why choose a realtor? Because we're with you from the first meet all the way to the closing table when you sign that last signature. And if you are thinking about buying or selling a home, I hope that the information that I've provided in this podcast has been beneficial to you to help you make that informed decision. And I also would love the opportunity to meet with you to tell you all the reasons why I could be that realtor for you. It is a very wise option to interview realtors because you want to have a realtor you're compatible with. And it's just the whole process. You want to know that you've got a realtor that's going to have your back all the way through. So be sure you interview, make sure you're comfortable with who you choose. And then if you decide for some reason that you are not happy with your realtor, you can ask that realtor to make changes or to allow you to be released from the contract, the listing, or a buyer's agency agreement. So make sure up front, because that gets tricky. So make sure up front that you do feel that compatibility and that you do feel that trust in who you interview. And if you would love to talk to me about buying or selling, anything that is involved in that process, if I can answer questions further than what I've covered in the podcast today, or if you would like me to expound on something that was talked about today, I would be more than happy to sit down with you one-on-one, have that discussion free of charge. I do not ever charge for conversations, and I don't charge for market analysis. So if you also would like to see what your home is worth to help determine if you want to sell your home, I can also provide that for you free of charge. It is not an appraisal. It is similar, but I can do all of that for you for no fee. And then also on the buyer side, we can talk about ways to work the compensation that would be earned for the realtor. If you have any questions further, please reach out to me. Cell phone 865-604-5478, office 260-7624. My email is RaciaSellsHomes@yahoo.com. I will have all of this posted with the podcast. There will be a link to my Facebook page. There will be a link to our company webpage. And then also, if you want to sit down one-on-one, or if you just want a phone call to go over anything further, please feel free to reach out to me. And remember, if you or anyone you know is looking to buy or sell a home, Racia Lawson, Realtor at the House Store, where every move matters.